Just a quickie. I use the phrase death cult a lot in conjunction with things like climate alarmism and the transgender movement. And a lot of people find that to be either a canard or some kind of inexplicable buzzword, or as they call it on the left, among the maniacs, a dog whistle. All I'm saying is, if you believe in these things, quintessentially the cornerstone of your entire philosophy in these arenas is that humanity, as it is, as it always has been, is somehow malignant, malevolent, and unhealthy, and the only way to make it healthy is to fundamentally destroy what it is and replace it with something else. That is the same conversation that goes alongside practices that have historically resulted in things like genocide. So, yeah, if you believe that the climate needs to be saved and all these measures like just immediately ending fossil fuel use and what have you is the solution, you're calling for the death of hundreds of millions of people, potentially billions of people, because we need diesel to get you your food. We need diesel to get you your chicken tendies. Your food is chicken tendies, although your chicken tendies probably aren't even real chicken. Nowadays, it's like Beyond Chicken or whatever. If you're calling for, kids to have access to ideological doctrine revolving around sexuality, you're subverting their natural development and setting them up for mental illness that will make them unable to be productive in society as adults, therefore eliminating their capacity to participate in the societies within which they will reside, and potentially to obtain the resources they'll require to continue living. If you can't work, you can't acquire resources, and that's outside of the economy, outside of society. Say you live in the woods. If you can't work to gather food, then you can't eat. So work transcends the so-called patriarchy and the constructs that you believe that you're fighting against. Work is just a reality. Animals work, you work. If you don't work, you get nothing, and then you die. You have to work to sign up for welfare. You have to work to get government money. You have to fill out paperwork. You have to show up for appointments and hearings. Everything that you do to continue living revolves around you doing work. When you subvert children's natural development psychologically and physically by blocking puberty, etc., you're reducing their capacity to function, to work, and stealing their health from them. Because I don't care what you believe. I'm here to tell you, those types of things that you want to do to those kids are going to hurt them and shorten their lifespans drastically. If you find it acceptable to shorten the lifespans of children, you're basically acting against the interest of the propagation of the human species, which makes you a death cult. Likewise, if you want to see the end of environmental damages at all costs, you are part of a death cult because you are killing one thing to save another. Any kind of ideology that you can come up with that will result in suffering and harm to large groups of people, or even small groups of people, is effectively a death cult. You are worshiping progress on the altar of sacrifice of organisms, living things. Those types of things are human sacrifice, etc. And they're usually associated with some of the most ass-backwards faiths, religions, organizational societies of historical precedent. Like, these are bad times and dark eras in human history. And you're trying to revive the most worst elements of those with no positive trade-offs. That you think that you can just starve a bunch of third world people and first world people, for that matter, to save the environment is the same attitude as stoning someone to death for corn to grow better. Just like the lottery. Maybe you need to read it and get yourself reacquainted with the type of madness that you're subscribing to. Okay? If you think that killing children that haven't even been born for the sake of convenience and because it'll harm the possibility that your life will turn out the way you want it to is acceptable ideology and acceptable logic and rationale, you are again sacrificing that child on an altar in the hopes that some imaginary force will benefit you or favor you. You're being religious. You're being driven by a death cult. You worship death because you think something needs to die so that you can have a better life. That is the worship of death. You're going to die too, and you think you're going to escape that death by embracing the transhumanism that the World Economics Forum offers you in some kind of guise of progress? Again, death cult. So this video is just, short for me, explanation of why I keep calling these things death cults, because they are effectively trying to use human sacrifice to achieve ends that are just frankly not possible. The environment's going to do what it's going to do. Maybe we have an impact on it. I'm sure we do to some greater or lesser extent, but whether we're here or not, the environment will change. The environment won't just stay the same because humans cease to exist. It was changing before we came onto this earth many millennia ago, and it'll continue changing after we leave it. And anytime the earth gets sick of our BS, it'll just have like a volcanic eruption and wipe us all out, along with most of the other surviving life on the planet. And then you know what'll happen next? It'll stabilize, and then more life will pop out. We've had 6 or 7 mass extinctions before humans even existed, and the thing that keeps happening is life keeps reasserting itself. We will not kill this planet. If we kill most of the things on this planet, they'll just be replaced by other things in a few tens of millions of years or longer, because that's what happens. We're not gods. We don't have power over nature. We don't even barely have power over our own lives, and you want to subscribe to save society by sacrificing human lives. You're a psychopath. And you're plainly just unforgivably stupid. Don't come to my door with that nonsense, because I'm going to slam it in your face. You're as bad as a Jehovah's Witness, and every bit as rabidly stupid and bigoted.